Hello, hello. Welcome to What's Working Now. I am your host, Katie Richardson, and so honored to be here today because we have somebody who I met a month ago, and in the last week and a half has gained nearly 200,000 followers additionally inside of her Instagram. You do not want to miss today's show. Let me read her bio before I just give it all away, okay? We are talking to the most amazing person who has identified an incredible niche that it's just like, it will blow your mind, okay? This is Kat Norton, and she energetically teaches Microsoft Excel to individuals, businesses, and educational institutes. Hello, I mean, talk about the most incredible niche. I'm going to keep going here. Since launching Miss Excel, MISS Excel, in June of 2020, she has grown a community of over 1 million people on TikTok and Instagram through viral Excel trick videos infused with creativity, music, and dance. Kat has recently been awarded the Microsoft MVP Award and featured in Business Insider as a pioneer in the Excel influencer space. Kat, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Okay, so you're fascinating because you have created a niche where I think I didn't know there was a niche.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to dive into the business because your business is exploding every day. And it's being created by you. It's not an accident, and it's not just a one-trick wonder. Before we dive into that, though, I want to hear. I really feel like everybody has an experience in life that helps them form how they view and see the world, and kind of has been instrumental in getting you to where you are. Share with us an experience or a time or a story of that for you. Like, what has formed and shaped you into who you are today?
Wow, that's such a powerful question. So I'm going to take it back to a time where it was like March, April of 2020, because that is really where I went in and shifted the way I view the world, which is a big part of what I do, why I do it. So, little backstory, I grew up with a lot of anxiety. I was super shy. I hated any attention on me. And that was pretty much my whole life. Wow. And with the start of the pandemic, I dove into spiritual work, and I started doing inner child work, shadow work, and really trying to figure out my purpose and what lights me up on this planet. And from that place, I was able to go in and shift a lot of the limiting beliefs that I had that were keeping me small. So like, I had all these beliefs like, oh, you have to just stay at your corporate job. You can't be an entrepreneur. That's going to be way too hard for you. You have too much anxiety for that. And I really got myself back to a baseline where I was like, oh my goodness, I could do anything I want to. Wow. Now, what do I want to do? And so that moment was so pivotal for me. At a specific time I'm really thinking of right now too was April. So I didn't create my business, Miss Excel, no videos on TikTok until June of 2020. In April of 2020, so 2 months before, it wasn't even a thought in my mind. I turned to my mother and I was like, Mom, I'm going to be rich and famous soon. So I need you to prepare your nervous system for that. And she was dying. She's like, what are you saying? And I was like, every ounce of me knew that something massive was coming. And I had energetically aligned myself to that outcome. And then by the time I actually started posting things, everything took off. So that moment in April was really such a pivotal one, because that was me like stepping into my worth and believing into myself and having the confidence that I had truly never had before, and had gone through inner shifts to be able to gain back in my life and come back toward my authentic self.
Oh my word. Kat, what you're talking about, like, you can say those words, you can do anything you want in life, and people hear it in their head, right? And it lives in their head, and it doesn't become actionable. It doesn't become a belief. And you did the work. You confronted the false beliefs that you had been believing, the limiting the beliefs, and you learned to tell the truth and connected with yourself in a whole new way spiritually. And you brought that thought that I can do anything. You like embodied it. And at that point, it became this powerful belief that you then could take action from that place.
Yeah, absolutely.
In so doing, creating this incredible business for yourself, which allowed you to quit your job and work for yourself and get your own vision, your own dreams out there into the world. And I know that you are helping hundreds of thousands of millions of people in doing that as well. So you've aligned with your purpose. And in doing that, not only is it helping you, but it's helping millions of people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's magic what can happen when you align with like your authentic self and your purpose. Because the entire business has been just inbound leads and the most like easy, flowing, fun experience, which I just never thought it could be that way, just based on the constructs that I had around entrepreneurship.
Okay. So is what you're saying then, that shift that you made in early 2020, that has become the foundational piece to your success?
Yes.
So
absolutely.
it wasn't a business plan or a strategic partner or an investment. I mean, did you have a bank account with just a bajillion dollars?
No. I literally started the business out of my childhood bedroom, and I moved my furniture out of the way, ordered a ring light and a green screen, and started creating content. And it was really just a result of pure alignment with my highest self that allowed everything to just kind of flow, And I just went into it too with the mindset of like, if I know that I'm not giving up, I have a 100% success rate. So it was just taking a bet on me. So when everyone was like, why are you sitting, in your childhood bedroom till 10 o'clock at night making videos? Like, what you doing over there, girl? And I'm like, well, you knew with 100% certainty that you were going to succeed. If you did X, Y, Z, would you do it? Or would you sit there? And I just got so clear on my intuition that I was like, oh, that's what I have to do. And I'm going to do it. And then everything just
Yeah. And what happens when you can align with your purpose is you don't even necessarily have to be disciplined. I think people oftentimes they think, I just need to force myself to do it and to buckle down. And I'm not hearing any of that out of you. I'm hearing a woman who is like brimming with energy and excitement and ideas that, yeah, even at 10:30 at night, she's creating content, not because she's forcing herself and she's being disciplined because she has to. It's because it's like, it's exciting you, it's energy, and it's flowing out of you. It's totally different.
I truly love what I do. And being able to create things, because I think I was a very creative being growing up, but it kind of got stifled throughout my life because I didn't have an outlet. So then I went into corporate. I was doing securitization reviews for banks, not the most creative outlet for myself there. Yeah. And on the side of my day job, though, I started doing Excel trainings for fun internally at the company just because it lit me up. And next thing you know, the company totally backed me, had me flying around the US hosting these Excel trainings for 4.5 years. And that's kind of where the groundwork was laid, where I showed myself like, oh, you can do these types of things. And then when it came down to putting it on TikTok, it was June of 2020. I'm on the phone with my friend. I was like, what is my purpose? I don't know. And she was like, well, what if you put the Excel on TikTok? And I was like, TikTok? I can't make a TikTok. I'm 27 years old. I have a corporate job. I was just so, and then it was really funny because for 48 hours, my brain and my gut were at war. My brain was like, you cannot make a TikTok. And my gut was like, make the TikTok. I didn't even have the app on my phone. I literally had to like YouTube how it worked. And then at that point, I was like, all right, I'm just going to like test out some videos. I'm not going to tell anybody I'm doing this besides my mother and my boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And I put out my first video. And then the next day I put out another and another. And by the fourth video, it hits 100,000 views. And I'm like,
get out.
Oh my goodness. It's getting pushed to all these people I know. I'm like, ah. Then by the sixth video, the CEO of an IT company reaches out to me and is like, hey, I love your teaching style. I'm looking to create training videos for students, parents, and teachers in G Suite products, because this is when all the schooling was going digital. And I'm clearly a Microsoft gal over here, but I'm like, I can learn really quickly. Yes. So I took the job, formed an LLC, got the green screen, ring light, moved my furniture, worked a full day, and then we'll record videos for this guy at night and sell the videos back to him. So at this point, I'm a week into TikTok, I'm making money. So I'm like, all right, I'll just keep, putting out the content. It's helping people. It's fun. And then 3 weeks in, I officially went viral. And I had a video reach, I think it was like 3.7 million views. I looked down at my phone and I had 100,000 followers on TikTok.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh boy. Because meanwhile, I hadn't told anybody at work. This was like a very under
Get
the
out.
radar
Yeah.
situation, like just me in my room. And next thing you know, everyone was also being like, oh, TikTok's going to go away. Because this is around the time where people thought the US was going to lose access to TikTok. So I'm like, all right, got to hedge my risk. I'm going to add an Instagram. I create the Instagram and only like 2,000 people pull over. So at this point, I'm like, all right, I guess I have to go viral on Instagram. And this is around the time where Instagram Reels came out. And next thing you know, I went viral on Instagram, grew 50,000 people in a week.
Oh my word.
And at that point, now it's like October. So I'm a few months in, and a business coach had reached out to me and was like, listen, if you're going to be in the Morning Brew, so the Morning Brew had reached out at the same time, this online business newsletter. He's like, if you're going to potentially be in the Morning Brew, you best have a product you're selling. And I was like, oh, touche. So I took a couple of weeks off from the day job and I whipped out an Excel course that was packed with like as much creativity and fun. So at this point, I had to stay on brand. A little backstory, if you haven't seen my videos before, if anyone listening, picture freezing your cells to Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice, or creating a drop down menu to Drop It Like It's Hot by Snoop Dogg. That is the type of energy I bring to my videos. We got the screen above my head. I'm dancing. It's a very fun situation.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm like, I have to make a really fun Excel course. So I put all my energy into it. I started selling it Black Friday of 2020. And by January, I was making more money with that than I was at my day job.
Oh my
So at
word.
that point, I'm like, okay, I think I need to quit. And I had another business coach being like, what you doing at that day job? And I was like, health insurance, 401k. And she was like, you need to quit, and gave me a deadline to quit by. I quit 2 days later. I was like, I want to quit before my 28th birthday. That was my gift to myself, my time back. Because I'm like, another 40, 50 hours in my week, I will be dangerous on the internet. So at this point, I quit the day job. The courses really start picking up. I add in another course, an advanced course, and I start doing webinars. By April, at the right around the same time, I had my first 6-figure month. And then Business Insider reached out and put out a feature on me. So at that point, like all these different bulk orders start coming in, the sales start kicking up. And since then, the business has been just like scaling and growing so quickly. I'm still pretty much a one-woman show over here. I have one virtual
So
assistant
good,
who
by the way.
helps with, thank you, who
Yeah.
helps with a couple of like graphics and things. But it's really, I've got it to this place where if I'm not in course creation mode, I work like 15 hours a week. Like the business is so automated. It's so simple. It's all just like passive income pretty much.
Mhm.
And aside from like the webinars I do every quarter or so, like it really just kind of scales itself. So it's been just such a like amazing way to gain more freedom in my life too. So that was like what I was really setting out for. I was like, I want to just feel free. I don't want someone telling me what to do every day. I want like financial abundance. I don't want to feel money anymore. I just want to
Yeah.
flow and do
Yeah.
what I want. I want to live where I want. And so that was driving me. And then along with like being able to help more people on a grander scale. So I was
Mhm.
helping a lot of people at the day job, but this all of a sudden scaled to like millions of people being
Yeah.
helped. And I was like, whoa, like anytime I stop and like think about them as literal people and like people's faces, like taking my courses, I get so overwhelmed. I start crying because it's just like such a gift to be able to help people save hours in their week, spend more times with their family. Like that was like my goal is to keep you out of Excel, to give you these Excel skills so you become so efficient that you can spend more time doing what you love. And being able to gift that to people just lights me up like no other. So that's kind of the story of how it went down.
As we can see, like you are so brimming with light and energy. And I have to take, like, you are truly creating your magic into the world.
Thank
And when
you.
I say magic, you are taking this skill set that you have honed and you've developed over years, combining it with your purpose or your calling. And you figured out, you chose how to put it out there into the world. And like, it is not a mistake that you taking that time to really understand your purpose and make some decisions there, and then have the
Yeah.
courage to put yourself out there into the world, which is not easy. Like, especially those first times, there's so much old thinking, old beliefs that you have to overcome internally to get to the place where you not only are creating that content, but you're putting it out there into the world. And so to see this result flow out of that, it excites me. And in some ways I'm not surprised, right? Because you did the work. You did the
Yeah.
work. And it came from a place of pure intention of, really living your purpose, and life, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is rewarding that, right? It is moving to support you and sustain this in a really incredible way. Like, holy cow, what an incredible story. Kat, just it's really exciting, really amazing. I had so many questions, and then as I had those questions, you kept kind of answering them. And some of them were like, how are you, like, to go back to, you didn't have a business plan.
Yeah.
Like, you just were taking action and you were aligning yourself with your purpose and continuing to move forward. And as you did that, you would get the information that you needed, right? You had this person saying, hey, if we're going to feature you, you should have a product. Like, you need a way to monetize this, right?
Yeah. It's
Those,
been really through intuition is how I've grown the business. I almost feel like a business plan would limit me because
ooh,
I don't want to put a projection out there because I know what's coming through for me is like always 10 times bigger and better. And I
yeah,
consciously can't even quantify what's about to happen to me, and to
yeah,
anyone who's just aligned in their purpose. Like that's one of
yeah,
the best parts about co-creating with the universe is you really can't predict these things. Like you never know the how. You could put out the what, like what you want, but it usually delivers like 10 times bigger.
yeah.
So I just kind of flow with the opportunities. I feel like lately I've been like, yes, man. Like I'm just like running around, like
Sure.
I've just taking all different opportunities, partnerships, and just like running with different things. But
Yeah,
I'm lit up,
you
and
are.
like it's aligned, it's lit up. Like when it's working season, it's time to get stuff done. I get stuff done. And then
Yeah,
when it's time to go outside and play and be in the feminine receiving energy, I go outside and play. And
yeah,
I'm just like living my life.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
really, that's what it comes down to. And then being so genuinely happy all the time just translates to the business. Like the business
yeah.
I view as like an extension of me and my energy and
Yes.
like what I put out in the world. Like Miss Excel is a brand. And really like people like come expecting to learn Excel, but they leave with a smile on their face from my energy and
Yeah.
the way I'm able to bring that out because that's a big part of what I do. One part's the Excel, but the other part is I'm trying to light everybody up. I want people inspired. I want people happy. I want to just do anything in my power that I can to like put a smile on people's faces.
Mm,
Whether I'm like walking through to the store or putting out content on social media, like
yeah.
so that's what that's why I think it blew up originally was just the polarity of
Yeah.
taking such like hyped up energy and like dancing and combining that with something that people traditionally view as boring, like Excel,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And putting those together, that polarity is what got it off the ground originally in the algorithm. Because people are like, why is she dancing? What's going on? And I just owned it. I was like,
Yeah.
I love to dance. I love to help people and I love Excel. And I'm just going to put all three in a video and see
So
what
good.
happens,
So good. So good. You mentioned something, passive income. And in order
Yes.
for passive income to happen, there needs to be some systems in place so that the money can actually make it to your bank account. What are some of those systems that you currently have in place?
Absolutely. So I sell my courses on Thinkific, which is an online
Cool.
course platform.
Mhm.
And I have it linked up to a Stripe account. So essentially, people just go on my website, purchase the course, they get access to the course, they get an email from me, and they get everything they need, and then the money goes in my bank account. So that was like the best moment too when I automated that. I still remember my first month, I was like signing people up manually, like handwriting them little welcome emails. But then obviously when it starts scaling, like it gets a little difficult to do that. So it's been really nice just like automating that piece. And then I also use Webinar Jam as my webinar platform, which I absolutely love. It like pops an offer right up on the screen with like a direct link to the checkout cart, which has been really great conversion tool. And it also holds the amount of people I need. Like my last one, I had 7,000 registrants. So like I needed a platform that was not
Wow.
going to crash on me. So Webinar
Yeah.
Jam, I believe is one of the highest like amounts of people you can put on a platform. And I just make it like a party. It's an Excel party. And people are bringing, their favorite drinks, they're this, they're that. I get everyone hyped up. I'm like, where are you from? Whatever. And we just have fun.
So good. Another thing that you mentioned is you don't have a massive team, right? You're able to help all of these people, hundreds of millions of people, and you don't have this huge team that you're also having to interface with. Share with us a little bit what that looks like, and if that was intentional, or how you've set your life up that you're not overwhelmed with this massive team.
Yeah, it's something I always think about because I feel like everybody has teams. But then when I look at my specific business, like I view my course creation as an art. So for me, when I'm building a course, like I build it, I integrate it with creativity, I shoot it because I'm the face of it, right? And then I could be outsourcing the editing, but for me, like that's part of the art for me
It
and like
is
part of
like
my
the
teaching.
storytelling.
Yeah, like I'll be like, okay, I need a hamburger to pop up on the screen for 3 seconds for them to get this point across and pull it down. Like things like that. So like I've kind of just kept that all on me. And I actually I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I'm not in course creation mode, there's really not that much going on besides creating content, which I have one virtual assistant who's incredible. And she does my like static posts.
Mhm.
And like sometimes she'll create like course cards or things. And then all the video posts I do because I'm like in them. And that's part of my art and my intuition is creating those posts. And that's how I keep going viral like every month because I just meditate, tap in, get the vision, and then like watch it come to life. And it's like so satisfying for me. So like that part I wouldn't want to outsource either. I just came off a business retreat with Gerard Adams and like we were learning about delegation and everything. And I was really sitting with my business and was trying to figure out what to delegate. But I mean, I feel like if anything, eventually I might get a community manager because I do have a Facebook group that keeps growing and growing and growing with the customers in it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if they get questions, I hop in and answer their questions. So if
Okay.
that ever becomes overwhelming, that would probably be the one thing I delegate. But as of right now, it's really just flowing, and I don't feel overwhelmed. Like I just feel
Mm.
good about it.
I think those are some of the keys there. Like you don't feel overwhelmed. You like doing the things that you're doing. They excite you, they energize you. It doesn't create drag.
Yeah.
And another thing that you shared with us, I was going to ask you, where do you get your ideas and how do you create your content? And you said you meditate and listen and the vision comes and then you go
Yeah,
execute it.
absolutely. So that's like kind of been my like secret sauce here is really getting myself into a flow state where I get intuitive hits on what content will go viral. And
Mm.
that's what I've been trying to like learn my process and figure out to be able to teach it because
Yeah.
it's a big part of it though, I think is the inner work I did beforehand. So I
Yes.
actually believe in the ideas I have.
Yes.
Where I would normally like not actually run to my computer and make it if I had these limiting beliefs about myself. Right. So I
Right.
think just clearing that was huge because then I got into this like divine channeling state. And then I get just like it hits me like I'm just like lightning bolt mode. Even the entire Miss Excel concept hit me like a lightning bolt. Like I still remember like video chatting with my friend and I was just glitching. Like I was like, oh my goodness, I have to do this. Da, da, da. Like I was just like glitching. I wish we had it on tape, but like I was watching, it was like literally getting like a lightning bolt. I was like, whoa. So that's something where now I have a whole creative process. I'll get myself into a really flowy state. So that's a big
What do you
piece.
do to get into that state?
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like this is something that a lot of people miss is this part is leaving space for the creativity. So I will dedicate like an entire day for a creative flow space. I won't try to do a bunch of like masculine energy work with to-do lists, this, that, and then sit down and be like, all right, I'm just going to think of a viral TikTok now. I'll wake up, meditate, do yoga, go for a hike in nature, like get into a flowy feminine energy receiving state. And then I'll sit down usually and I'll look at what's trending on TikTok. So I'll do a little market research on Instagram, on TikTok, see what's going on. And then I start to get like hits of like songs that match to Excel tricks. And I write them all down in a note in my phone. And I kind of stay in this state. And it's interesting, really giving yourself the time. Like it takes me about an hour to really get in. So
Yeah.
I'll sit there for an hour and nothing's really hitting. And then all of a sudden after the hour mark, I just get all these ideas. And then I write them down and then I take another day. That's more of a masculine energy day. And I'll like do my hair, do my makeup, do my things. And I'll shoot all of those. and then I video edit them throughout the week or whatnot. But that process for me, just like dedicating a chunk of time to the creative state.
Yeah.
And really just that's where the magic is the
Yeah.
creative state, you know, like, you know, better than anyone, like what's aligned for you and like what's aligned with your purpose. And so many people just are like, I need a book, I need this, I need that to tell me what to do with my life. And so many people just skip like going in and
Yeah.
seeing what makes you happy. Like I even like test little things. Like if my vibration's down one day, I'll be like, okay, what will make me happy in this moment? And just I'll do like a little thing like, oh, I'm gonna go like get a coffee. Oh, I'm gonna go eat some chocolate. Oh, I'm gonna go for a walk. Like a little thing to kind of shift your vibration, like learning yourself and learning your body and learning how to manage your energy is your greatest asset. Because if you don't have energy backing you, the things you create aren't going to have that magnetism, you know?
Yeah, like if you're creating with an energy of drag, then there's that
Mm,
drag component will be there inside of your creations, right? Because
yeah,
the opposite is happening for you, right? You're creating from a place of energy and flow, and you're it's literally spilling out of you, and that component is there inside of your content. And people feel it, they
absolutely.
experience it. It's real.
Yeah, it's really any piece of content is an energy transmission. So one thing I do too is like if I'm in a bad mood, I will not post. Like if you're better off not posting that day because your energy is attached to the content you're sending out to the world and someone's receiving that. Or if I record and was in a bad mood, like I can just look at a video and be like, energy's off, you know, and like that's not the one I post. So it's just like learning that about yourself and learning what videos like you're like, whoa, my energy's fire there. What did I do? You know, and kind of like reverse engineering your energy to figure out how to best manage it yourself is just such a massive gift.
So good. And all of this is built with a Stripe account, Thinkific, and sometimes a part-time assistant, and you.
Yeah.
It's just, it's really incredible. I'm constantly saying that this is the most amazing time in the history of the world.
Yeah.
And to think that you at 27 can have such significant income coming in with less effort. Yeah. You said you're working
Yeah.
what, like 15 hours a week, and it's providing networks, it's providing opportunities, it's providing travel and time for yourself and allowing you to do work in this immersive way. It's like it's absolutely incredible. What a beautiful time that we live in. Beautiful time
Yeah.
that we live in.
Agreed. That's like one of the things that lights me up the most is like just knowing that anybody can do these types of things. Anyone can align with their energy and go out and create, you know, and just like being, I try to just light people up. I have a lot of friends who have these ideas and then they'll tell me their blocks. And I'm like, nope, like, let's talk through this stuff. We're throwing blocks and blocks and blocks out the window. But I'm like, it's the whole process just flowed so seamlessly that it just inspired me so much to try to just kind of get the word out and be like, whoa, the only thing that really blocks us in life is ourselves. And
Mhm.
if you remove that out of the equation, and you just go into what lights you up like full force, you're going to blow up, you know, and
Yeah.
just really trying to inspire people to follow their passion projects and like do what lights them up and know that they don't have to stay in the matrix if they don't want to, you know, like you can create abundance in your life just by trusting in you, you know, and that's the piece where I grew up my whole life thinking I had to just play by the rules and hop in the matrix. It was like, go to business school, get a corporate job, retire at 65. You know, that was just like what was modeled for me. And
Yeah.
that was modeled as success for me. And like, really, like some people love that. And some people are like, that's my jam. I love my job. I love my company. And if that's what lights you up, that's what you do. Right. For me, though, I was just feeling very stagnant and I didn't actually like what I did at work. I love the company, I love the people, but I every day I'd go in and be like, look, and in retrospect, thinking that I was operating out of that energy of ugh, you know, when I was creating my reports for work, you know, like it just really like figuring out that it didn't have to be that way. It was just a massive realization, you know, and that's
Yeah.
where I'm trying to just show people how in a year I turned my life upside down. And
In the
I
best
turned
possible way.
the best way, in the best way. Like and I'm a digital nomad now. My boyfriend and I live all around the world. Every month we move different places. Like we've been just living such a fun life that I didn't think was possible,
Yeah.
you know? And it was all
Yeah.
just believing in yourself.
Yeah. So you told us the incredible story of really finding your purpose in early 2020.
Yeah.
Is that the same today? I mean, it hasn't been that long. It's been a year and a half. Is that the same today, or do you feel like your purpose has evolved and shifted now that you've gone through everything that you've experienced over the last 18 months?
Great question. So I feel like it's definitely growing out different ways. So I think originally my purpose was to light people up and have them doing more of what they love in life, because then they'll find their purpose and their abundance and things. So it's kind of my like attempt at a ripple effect
Yeah.
through getting better at Excel, because people spend hours of their week in Excel, where if they take my courses and learn different tricks, they can save hours in their week. So that was kind of my original like roundabout way of having people do more of what they love in life, because not everybody loves Excel like I do, you know. And so that was the original thing. And now looking back on what has happened, I'm like, whoa, it's an even bigger picture now. Now I want to show people just really like use my story as something that you're like, okay, subconscious, she did it. I can do it too. You know, like a subconscious expander. Because sometimes if you don't see people doing these things, you don't believe it's possible,
Yeah.
you know? So like that's my goal now, is to really get my story out there, get in with people, like light them up, help them unblock things they got going on. Cause I just want everybody living their best life and like feeling so alive and in their purpose and things. So it's kind of the similar aligned situation, but multiple outlets now, where I'm really trying to like leverage the story of what happened to be like, you can do it too, you know? And like there's nothing standing in your way besides your limiting beliefs. And once we clear that stuff, you're like ready to rock and roll, you know?
So good. So you mentioned that part of your purpose is to help other people, right? And to
Yeah.
experience that ripple effect. What are some stories or examples where you've gotten to experience that? You've shown up aligned with your purpose, and what is kind of the fruits of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I get messages almost every day of people in my courses now. Like I got one, it was on my story like 2 days ago. Like someone was like, yeah, like I'm only halfway through your course and I've impressed my boss so much that she actually raised my pay.
So good.
And yeah, and she was so excited about it. I'm like, oh my goodness, like you did this, girl. Like you know, you invested in you, you put the time in you. Like I get stories all the time too. People just like saving time in their week and able to do more of what lights them up. And just like those messages, when people reach out, like that means the world to me. And then people just thanking me too, like that means the world. When people are like, oh, I listened to you on a podcast and I got inspired, like that happens a lot now too. And like that, I'm like, let's go. Like that's, you know, just really trying to create the ripple and just like get everybody hyped, you know?
Yeah, so incredible. And yeah, those personal messages are so meaningful when you're the one who created everything that they're experiencing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you're preemptively creating that with the hope that it helps somebody, with the hope that it connects to an individual, and so to get those messages is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I know you're not trying to like make something happen, right? You don't have this 10-year master plan that you're forcing to happen in your
Yeah.
life, but you're in the flow, you're aligning, and opportunities come to you. As opportunities come to you, I know, at least for me and a lot of my clients, sometimes it's an overwhelm of opportunity. And then it becomes determining the few things that you do say yes to, and then how you determine to say no to things. Have you experienced that? And if so, how do you decide what you say yes to and what you say no to?
Absolutely. So that's especially whenever press articles come out, like a Daily Express article in the UK came out a few weeks ago, and then like a ton more opportunity kept pouring in. So it kind of like ebbs and flows, like
Yeah.
different, you know, and it's really, I ask my body what feels aligned. So that's been a big part of like, because a lot of these are like big names, big companies, things. And I'm just like, okay, I need to sit back and be like, what feels aligned? And I ask my body, like, does this feel good? Is it a full body yes? Or am I like, eh? Because if it's not lighting me up, it's in turn just hindering me and what I can produce for the planet. Right. So I want to make sure that the activities, the partnerships, the people I work with are things that are really lighting me up. So that's been, I really go inward during those times in terms of like figuring out what's a priority and what's not. And I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, is this going to help people? Is this something that's going to get my message out and inspire people? Or is this something that's just like, like, do I want to sell a supplement on my Instagram? So it's really like going in and trying to figure out like what's lighting me up.
Kat, I love what you're saying. I feel like we're taught from a really young age to value the mind, and that all decisions must be made on logic. And what you're sharing with us totally goes against that. You're checking in with your body.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love this. I love this. And I really feel like more people need to hear this message. Yes, we have an incredible brain, but it's not the only faculty that we have. And there are other ways to get answers.
Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
people still have so much like emotional trauma stored in the body. And that's something that goes so unnoticed, like your body's carrying all these things. So really like something I work on consistently is connecting my mind to my body and not feeling like I'm just a brain, like walking on stilts, like really just fully like connecting myself and my energy field, because that all translates out to your aura and translates to what you can be calling back in. So doing energy work to make sure that I'm all lined up. And then that way I can go inward and ask my body. Because sometimes like it ties back to the intuition too. Like your brain might be telling you one thing, but your gut, AKA me making a TikTok, is telling you another thing. And I listen to my body in that moment, not my brain, my limiting beliefs that we're still trying to pop back up, being like, you can't make a TikTok. Like my gut, my intuition, like female intuition is so strong and so underrated.
Yeah.
And really like no one's taught to like tap into that. And that's been one of my biggest game changers is like listening to that. Cause like it's driven my entire business. Like people, I've had like business meetings, like ad companies and things. They're like, what drives your business? I'm like, my intuition, it's not like a business plan or anything. I just kind of flow. Cause I also know that anything the universe gives me is something I can handle. So anything that's flowing to me, I'm like, okay, like I know I can do it. And sometimes I have to, ask my angels for help, take a step back, ask, like I'll pray, I'll do things. I'll be like, all right, be a little assistance team. And then next thing you know, I did 10 hours of work in 4 hours. And I'm like, oh, cool.
I love it. So you got your part-time assistant and your team of angels.
Yeah.
I love it.
Precisely.
And you've mentioned intuition, which I'm a big believer in. Are there other things like resources, books, or individuals who have helped you learn how to maybe even just tap into your intuition and how to utilize more than just your brain?
Yeah. A big thing for me has been my Kundalini yoga practice. So Kundalini yoga, if you're not familiar, it's the yoga of awareness, and it uses like mantra and movement to help you go into your subconscious patterns and rework different things. So like, for example, there's certain poses where you're like staring at the tip of your nose. That's bringing blood flow to the frontal cortex of your brain. And then that's going in. Like, I feel like from doing a lot of these different things, like my neuron velocity is increased so greatly, which is then like tapping into like my ability to think on my feet and then trust my intuition. So like sometimes I'm like, holy cow, how'd I think of that so fast? Or how'd I do that? And a big part of it for me has been going in and doing these different meditation practices that are strengthening that trust muscle of the intuition, where then I actually go and act on it and believe it,
So good. Kundalini.
Oh yeah. I do it every day. So does
You do it every day.
Yep.
So good. Well, that was going to be my next question for you. I have these rapid fire questions for you at the end, and you just gave us one answer, but I'm sure there's another thing that you can answer to this one. What's something that you do consistently every day?
Ooh, yeah. So I'd say first would be that meditation practice. And also getting outside every day is really grounding for me. And like, that's a big part of, we're looking to buy a house in Sedona early next year because it's to me, it has been the most majestic, healing, grounding place. And I'll just like go step outside and immediately just feel like, and being grounded allows me to go up. So being grounded allows me to create and call in bigger things and handle it. Cause I know I could just like wrap myself in a blanket and go sit out on my red rocks and be like, okay, I'm good. So having that grounded energy allows me to expand.
Being grounded allows me to go up. So
Yeah.
good. So good, Kat. Is there a book that you keep on your nightstand or you frequently revisit?
Yes. Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, was the first book that ever got me into it. It really showed my conscious brain about the law of attraction through science. And my little Capricorn conscious brain over here was just like, oh, we need some science and classic Excel nerd stuff over here. But that really, I was so passionate about it. I created an outline of it because I wanted people to be able to read it and experience it and like put it in my own words. Cause I think it's such a powerful book.
Wait, do you share this outline?
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to
Okay, we would love that. I think that's
you.
so cool. Love it. Okay, is there some advice that you've been given in your life that's been instrumental to your success?
Yeah, I would say, it's a good one. I feel like there's so many things. My dad, I don't know why this one just keeps coming up. My dad being like, I still just remember this is something where like old version of me, I would get caught up in what people think. And my dad was like, you're not even going to know these people in 10 years. Like, it really doesn't matter. And that for me, when I was in myself with my limiting beliefs and like really just trying to navigate life and people please,
Yeah.
that piece of advice just kept ringing to me right now. It's like, you're not, like, I remember being like high school. He's like, Kathleen, you're not going to know these people in 10 years. Like, relax. It doesn't matter what they think. And I was like, whoa. Yeah. And then well, look now, it's true.
Yeah. Such good advice. Kat, this has been absolutely incredible. If there's somebody who's listening who recognizes that they're caught up in the bind of their limiting beliefs, what's a step that they can take today to begin to move towards what you're describing and identifying their purpose?
Absolutely. I would say find some type of practice that resonates with you, whether it's meditation, whether it's Kundalini yoga, whether for me, I did Lacey Phillips' To Be Magnetic program as like a structured way to unblock a lot of subconscious beliefs like that. For me, my trifecta personally was reading Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, got my conscious mind on board. Then I went through Lacey Phillips' To Be Magnetic program, and that really helped me structured remove like the inner child, the shadow, and just clear a lot of that. And then going in with the Kundalini yoga also, like that was my little trifecta that I did that every single day for 2 months. And then the idea hit.
So good. Kat Norton, you're incredible. Go find her on Instagram and TikTok at MISS. Is it .excel?
.excel. Yep.
So good. Thank you for being here. And this is what's working now.